Communist China has it all. Terrible industry, terrible army, terrible research, and in the most recent update, Paradox even made it harder for you to justify war goals. But what if I told you that despite all of this, Communist China is still completely broken?
Oh, shit. Here we go again.
So if you weren't aware, before the update, the best strategy for Communist China was to abuse the fact that you start off as a communist nation and basically just justify on everyone. And if you time it right, you've basically conquered half of China before Japan even attacks, and then you just kill the Nationalists. Now, Paradox has nerfed this strategy by not only adding this modifier, which increases the justification time, but also there are now a bunch more warlords than before. But this does make our job of unifying China a lot more difficult, but that's not gonna stop me. Before we actually go and conquer anyone, it's pretty important that our army is actually functional, otherwise we can't even fight, so I will be rushing down to this focus, which gives us 10% attack and also a military factory. And basically the worst thing about all Chinese nations is the horrific state of your research. We again have a massive research debuff, 15%, and also only 2 research slots. It's again going to take forever for us to get a third one. And another thing that's basically trademark for Chinese nations is that we don't have civilian trains, first of all, so we have to research that for supply, but yes, we are, of course, using the World War I guns, so let's get rid of that. We are going to be building some factories eventually, but for the time being, we're going to basically be spending all our civs on trade. Good thing about basically not having an army, we don't have to organize anything. 5 speed, go. We have a choice here between a 70-day focus and a 35-day focus, and because our entire strategy revolves around rushing the warlords as quickly as possible, I'm going to do the 35-day focus. Bonuses are truly horrific. I don't know why you would ever do this focus for the bonuses, but it's 35 days, so we're going to do it. Paradox, please make more focuses 35 days. Now, Paradox may have nerfed the war justification time by 50%, but if they really didn't want me to do this, they would have nerfed this by 100%. Plus 36 political power after getting a chief of the army, we're gonna justify on Hebei. And we're not just gonna be justifying on one warlord, because 48 political power, Gansu as well. Yeah, that's right, this strategy isn't dead yet. Red Army Reborn is complete. I'm just gonna do one more focus, cooperate with Ulan Hu. All this does is spawn in 2 divisions, which basically means free guns, and we need a lot of guns. Now, the more observant of you might have noticed that the 2 warlords I justified on are also 2 warlords that do not even border me, so how the hell do I actually plan to get to Hebei? Well, if we look over here, the Eastern Expedition unlocks a border war that allows us to take control of Shanxi. That's right, we're going for it. We've also reached a point where you have to make a very important decision as Communist China, and that decision is whether you want to keep the militia or switch over to traditional infantry. Now, militia is actually pretty good early game, especially for Communist China, since you have the People's Militia Infantry Subdoctrine, which Mao gives extra bonuses for. This track also only requires 250 mastery compared to the 500 of all of the other ones. Now, the obvious downside is that militia is horrendous late game, so I'm just gonna stick with the good old infantry. This is basically gonna be the division I use to make all of my early warlord conquests. It looks terrible, it is terrible, but by China standards, this division is basically like top of the line infantry, so let's convert the entire army, and oh my god, do we need a lot of guns. We now also have the 2 major branches of our political focus tree. One side is the boring historical path, and the other side is the mega aggro kill everyone path. And you read the title of this video, you already know which one we're doing. Let's do the unwilling diarchy. This also gives our country leader a crazy bonus, plus 15% attack on core territory, and our core territory is all of China, so we essentially just get 15% attack everywhere. Speaking of attack, let's also do our border conflict with Shanxi. Our divisions might be absolutely terrible, but their divisions are somehow even more absolutely terrible. So yeah, this border conflict, not really a challenge. There we go, border conflict 1, and just from one tiny border clash, we've gained control of all of Shanxi. Seems very realistic, Paradox. And also, this guy just straight up gave me Yan'an, so don't mind if I do. We also have our war goal against Hebei. Let's go and use that right away, because that unlocks this focus over here, request for aid, which gives us a crap ton of Soviet guns. Thank you very much. Let's train a bunch more divisions. Like I said, our divisions might not be the best, but compared to the warlord garbage, they are basically elite divisions, because look at that, 127 soft attack versus 5. I think we're slightly stronger than the warlords. There we go. Hebei is taken. Communist China takes Beijing in January 1937. Totally historical playthrough, guys. Totally historical. We've also done the focus, bring war to the neighboring warlords, which gives us war goals on all of our neighbors. And since we just took Hebei, that now includes Shandong, which means you are next. There we go. And next, we got what's left of Shanxi to deal with. These guys are a little more difficult to deal with because they have more equipment, but we're still fine. And our our final neighbor, Ningxia. Ningxia is gone, and we've finally gotten a border with our final justification, Gansu, which, if you haven't noticed, also borders Xinjiang. Yeah, that's right. We're doing it. This is so dumb. Look at that. 5 warlords gobbled down in basically half a year. Now, I did have a war goal against the Northeastern Army, which I didn't get a chance to use, but as you can see, at the start of May 1937, the Nationalists will form the United Front, so if I was at war with any warlord and they joined the United Front, then I would be so incredibly screwed. So it's very important that we actually finished all of our conquests before May 1937. Except for Xinjiang, they don't join the United Front. July 1937, the Marco Polo Bridge incident has happened, but to be honest, I have no idea how the Marco Polo Bridge incident can even happen, because we literally control Beijing. Anyway, Japan is now at war with China, but there is a good reason that I went for all of these Eastern warlords, because Japan's focus doesn't actually give them a war goal against us. So by taking Hebei, Shandong, and Shanxi, I have basically cocked-blocked the entire Japanese invasion. Oh, this is ridiculous. The only downside of this is that if we don't fight Japan, we will get a penalty when this timer runs out, but honestly, 5 stability, 5 war support, literally who cares? Justification on Xinjiang is done. I really was hoping that Xinjiang would have finished off this other warlord by now, but, you know, the AI is as incompetent as always, so I am justifying on this guy as well. There we go, that was pretty easy. And finally, the Xinjiang Mark leak is defeated. Look at that. The old communist China strategy refuses to die. Alright, now that we have basically taken over the entire northern half of the country, we have 47 factories, which is literally more than the Nationalists, by the way. They only have 40. All we gotta do now is basically build up a gigantic army and just invade China. It's literally as simple as that. My army modifier is also starting to look absolutely insane. 15% artillery attack, 5% infantry attack, 10% night attack. Oh my goodness.
A few moments later.
It is now August 1938. My 22 mils have been hard at work churning out a ton of guns. The army is still kind of a work in progress. Our divisions are very good, but we just don't have a lot of them. I'm going to declare war now because we can always deploy more divisions, and I really want to unite China ASAP. We're going to declare on the Northeastern Army, and that's going to bring in the Nationalists. The AI has immediately gone super aggro and tried to start pushing me, but honestly, I mean, look at their divisions. Absolute garbage. 162 soft attack, 500 defense, try and get through that. I love how Japan is trying its hardest to naval invade, but because the Nationalists don't share a land border with Japan, they're just like stacking all their troops on garrison, so Japan's like not even making it through. China has now spent a good 5 months and also 56k guns that they really could not afford by just attacking our lines non-stop. I think it's time for the counterattack. There we go, first encirclement of the campaign, and another one, and another one. And another one. Unfortunately, me basically completely deleting the Nationalist army has led to the Japanese AI finally waking up and doing a naval invasion. We are technically still competing for war score with them. I am obviously winning. People's Republic of China, formed in June 1939. And the best part of that focus is, of course, our 3rd research slot, which again took like 3 years to get. We've taken Chongqing, we've taken Chengdu, we've marched into Sichuan, and that is China surrendered. We have 75% of the war score. We should get plenty of territory in the peace deal. All of this is our core as well, so we get a massive discount. We can straight up just annex all of China. Now, I'm going to do one thing, and that is let Japan have Qingdao. If you're a Hoi4 OG, you probably already know what I'm going to do next. And there we go. August 1939. World War II has not even started, and Communist China has mostly unified China. We don't talk about Manchuria or Tibet. We now also have 141 factories. Uniting China always gives you a stupid amount of factories because all of those warlords go through their focus trees to just build 1 million factories, and when you unite all of them, you just go absolutely ultra insane. And we're also researching transport planes and paratroopers. I think you know what we're gonna do. Let's go ahead and declare. We're still missing a little bit of artillery, but we should be fine. I mean, look at our army modifier. That is insane. Also, the best thing about Communist China is all of the supply bonuses you get. We already have minus 35% supply consumption. Our divisions are loaded with artillery, and guess how much supply they use? That's right, 0.56. That is insane. And yes, if you haven't guessed already, this is why I let Japan take Qingdao. We're gonna do the port cheese on them. All we gotta do here is make sure not to actually take the port, destroy the divisions. The AI will keep putting more divisions in because the AI is a dumbass, and you basically get free encirclements. It's very cheesy, but that's kind of the whole purpose of this video. There we go, all the divisions in Qingdao destroyed. That's 182,000 casualties already. Look, about 3 more Japanese divisions in Qingdao. That's free real estate right right there. I mean, the Portuguese are so powerful, I could technically just sit here and encircle Qingdao for the next 2 hours, but that would not be very interesting, right? Let's go push into Manchuria. Ay, this is too easy. Already in Mach 10 in a month. And what do the Japanese do? Yeah, that's right. They send reinforcements to Qingdao. Free real estate. I mean, I don't think any other major nation can reliably get its entire army killed so quickly. I mean, maybe Italy, but other than that, the Japanese AI is an absolute expert at getting its entire army trapped in Manchuria. This Manchurian encirclement is so easy. You can do this every single game. As soon as you take the supply network, the AI just completely collapses. And the casualty ratio is a very disgusting 16 to 1. 51k versus 800,000. Oh, and one other thing the Japanese AI will always do, even if they're on their last breath, yeah, that's right, naval invasions. Well, all the Japanese have been cleared off the mainland, so what do you say we take a little trip to the home islands themselves? Should be helped by the fact that I basically annihilated their entire army. There we go, we've made it across. Everyone else, try and get across, preferably without dying. Easier said than done, obviously, against Japan. Nothing screams Japan more than naval invading me whilst I'm completely destroying them. Japan has had its surrender limit buffed a lot. I mean, I guess the update is literally called No Compromise, No Surrender, but it does mean we have to go all the way to Hokkaido. Pain in the ass. And finally, with the capture of Sapporo, Japan unconditionally surrenders. Let's take back all of our cores, and we'll make a puppet out of everything else. Resource rights, war reparations, and we'll yoink the entire navy as well. Look at that. Chinese Japan. And you know the drill. At the end of every single China playthrough, we gotta go and grab Tibet and all the coastal cities. Tibet is annexed, and that is China fully united under the communists by March 1941. We just got one more thing to do. Let's ask for the coastal cities. Focus complete. Oh, you son of a